In 1974, a Hungarian professor named Erno Rubik invented a 3D combination puzzle that's been challenging people all over the world for more than 4 decades. Now imagine for a minute that we're watching an inexperienced person trying to solve one of these Rubik's Cubes for the very first time. But let's make it a little bit more interesting by adding a blindfold to our test subject. So how long do you think it would take this blindfolded person to solve the Rubik's Cube that has over 43 quintillion possible configurations? Well, according to some of the world's top mathematicians, it could take up to 1.35 quintillion years. Now, I'm not sure if that's taken into account meals and bathroom breaks, but either way, that's a long time. But now we're going to try something a little bit different by having an experienced Rubik's Cube expert sit next to the newbie and simply say left, right, up and down, and coach him towards a solution. So now how long do you think it would take to solve it? Well, as crazy as it sounds, experts say that it could be completed in less than 6 minutes. So at this point, you may be wondering what all this has to do with your business. And my answer is, more than you could possibly imagine. Well, my name is Steve Corey, and I'm a professional business consultant and the author of the upcoming book, The X Factor: How to Make a Quantum Leap in Your Personal Effectiveness. Now, when I first started out in business over 20 years ago, I was that blindfolded guy trying to solve the Rubik's Cube of business, and I stubbornly refused any help in the process. I was more like, I can do this myself. I'll figure it all out by myself. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a different story. But you know what? Tomorrow really wasn't that much different, except that I was a little bit older, a little bit more frustrated, and I had a few more broken promises in the wake behind me. Back then, I remember having this sense of fear that I was going to be found out, because although I looked the part that I was playing of a young businessman, I really didn't know what I was doing. And the business that I was running, well, now it was running me. Now I'm sure you've heard the statistics, right? How 80% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years and another 80% fail within the next 5. And if you've made it past the first 5-year mark, then congratulations to you. After all, survival precedes success. But here's what I want to know. Even though you may be surviving, is your business starting to frustrate you as much as mine used to frustrate me? Are you starting to feel a little bit like the Wizard of Oz and hoping nobody peeks behind your curtain?
Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Now, I'm not saying that just because you may be feeling a little bit stuck at the moment that you can't figure it all out for yourself. I mean, maybe you can. The thing is, even though you may be able to navigate the rough waters and get it all figured out, you're burning through a lot of time and energy in the process. And that's time and energy that could be better invested in not only making more profit, but doing it with less stress and more effectiveness so that you can get back to actually having a life. Well, maybe it's time to stop the insanity and try something different. I remember a time years ago when I was looking for answers in my own business, and I came across a quote from Albert Einstein that really resonated with me. It went like this: "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Have you ever had a quote literally stop you in your tracks? Because man, this one sure did. And after hearing that little bit of wisdom, I began to realize that my business could never outgrow my thinking. And if I kept doing what I was doing, well, I was going to keep getting the subpar results that I was getting. So after years of struggling to figure things out on my own, I recognized that I needed the advice and the perspective of a competent mentor. So to get started, I turned to Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth. Now this was one book that really got my wheels turning, and it had a profound and a transformational effect on my thinking. So after finishing it, I grabbed a copy of his next book, which was E-Myth Mastery. And in the back of that book, I saw an advertisement for a program they offered, which was called the E-Myth Mastery Impact Course. Now this was an intensive 1-year vocational MBA program that covered all aspects of running a successful business. Now this was over 15 years ago, and the cost of the course was $1,300 a month, which was a lot of money for me at the time. But I was totally committed to running my business successfully, so I bit the bullet and I went for it. Now after digging into the course material, I really liked the content. And slowly but surely, things began to improve as I started applying the new information. But there was one thing that was lacking, and that kept me from making that quantum leap in my business more quickly. And that's because my coach, although he was a great guy, had never run a business of his own. He was just walking me through a one-size-fits-all curriculum. Well, I look at it like this. Being in that situation was kind of like you and I making the commitment to summit Mount Everest in the near future. And then we find out that we're going to be guided by someone who's never been to the summit or even been on the mountain for that matter. In fact, he's not going to even be joining us on our expedition. No, he's going to be talking us through a workbook using a two-way radio while he's sitting at base camp. Now, I don't know about you, but here's where I'm coming from. If I was going to climb that treacherous mountain, I'd absolutely want an experienced guide. I'd want someone who's been to the summit and back successfully many times and maybe even has a few scars and bloodstains on his clothes to show for it. I wouldn't want somebody reading me some manual and telling me how to do something, especially when I have more experience than they do. So regarding the vocational MBA program, although I really enjoyed the coursework, hey, and I really enjoyed my coach as a person. I liked him as a person. He was a great guy. I learned a very important and expensive lesson. And that is, when it comes to selecting a mentor, make absolutely sure that they've already been where you want to go. Listen, I've been there. I know all about the struggle to make ends meet in business and all the sleepless nights caused by everything from payroll to inventory. I also understand feeling the pressure to learn and master everything from Facebook advertising to direct response marketing and everything in between. But here's what I've learned. The difference between merely surviving and having massive success as an entrepreneur doesn't require nearly as much effort as you may think it does. Many times I've discovered that business owners don't need to do more to get the results that they're after. In fact, a lot of times it's actually about doing less, and sometimes much less, and learning to work more effectively, not harder. And that's where I come in. If you allow me to, I'll be that guide who walks beside you until you reach your own personal summit, and then arm you with the tools that you need to take your company to that next level of success. You see, so many times the trouble we have as entrepreneurs is that we're too close to our challenges to come up with realistic solutions. You know, we're not able to see the forest for the trees kind of thing. And the thing is, sometimes the success we desire is right under our noses, and that's where an experienced coach comes in. And sometimes it's not always about what your coach knows as much as what he sees, because he has the benefit of a magic word, and that word's perspective. Well, here's what Bill Gates has to say about this.
Everyone needs a coach. It doesn't matter whether you're a basketball player, a tennis player, a gymnast, or a bridge player. My bridge coach, Sharon Osberg, says there are more pictures of the back of her head than anyone else's in the world. Sorry, Sharon. Here you go. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve.
Over the years, I've received so many different kinds of advice, I don't know where to start. One that comes to mind is to have a coach. Our board member in 2002, John Doerr, said, "You need a coach." And I said, "Well, I don't need a coach. I'm an established CEO. Why would I need a coach? Is something wrong?" He said, No, you need a coach. Everybody needs a coach." So Bill Campbell became my coach and has served Google very well. Every famous athlete, every famous performer has somebody who's a coach. Somebody who can watch what they're doing and say, is that what you really meant? Did you really do that? They can give them perspective. The one thing people are never good at is seeing themselves as others see them. A coach really helps.
I would speak right to the entrepreneurs that are out there, because that's my niche. And yes, this isn't going to be for every single human, because not every single human is an entrepreneur. But I would say to them that if you want to be the most successful entrepreneur possible in your business, in your life, start out by tying in and partnering and using mentors and coaches and experts in your world to help you grow your business the most successful way that you can, by listening to people that have been there and done that before. Because so many people, I was a headstrong entrepreneur that went down these paths and failed miserably at times because I didn't listen to others out there. I thought, I don't need anybody else. I was too afraid to pay other people money. But once I realized that the world is much more, your business is much more successful, and the world can be more successful if you surround yourself with other people.
Now, you need to know something about me up front. If we do end up working together, you may not always like the growth process that I'm going to walk you through. Growing isn't always comfortable, but I can assure you that you will like the results. And that's what we're really after here, right? Measurable results that'll bring you more profit in your business with less stress so that you can get back to actually having a life. Now, swamped as you're feeling at the moment, you may be thinking that you don't have time for one more thing on your plate, especially any coaching program. Believe me, I really do understand. But my goal isn't to give you more to do. My program is all about helping you to take more off your plate by focusing your attention on those vital few things you must be doing amidst all the trivial things you're now doing. But I need to say this. I only work with people who have tremendous whys. Here's what I mean. Well, two buddies were at Dodger Stadium watching a game, and they decided to head to the restroom after the fourth inning. All of a sudden, one of them accidentally drops a $10 bill into the lavatory, and his friend starts cracking up until he watches his buddy take out his wallet and throw a $100 bill in there as well. He says, "Dude, have you lost your mind?" He can't even believe what he just saw. His friend just looks at him and says, "What? You don't think I'm going in there for just $10, do you?"
That was beautiful. Just beautiful.
All right, maybe that's a crude example, but you get my point. And the point is, you've got to want it, and you've got to want it bad. If you're on the fence about this coaching program, then you're probably better off working with somebody else. There's a lot of people out there that would love to work with you just for the money, but I'm not your guy. But if you're serious, must change now kind of serious, then I invite you to apply for a coaching spot with me. Now, you may be wrestling with the idea of spending money on this coaching program, and I get that. But while so many other areas of your business are legitimate costs and expenses, this one's actually an investment. And it's also the best investment that you're ever going to make. Because not only are my services basically free, since you should start noticing a measurable return on your investment very shortly, but here's the best part. Although, yeah, you'll be investing some money up front, the knowledge that you'll gain and the systems that we'll build are going to remain long after your time with me is up, bringing you exponentially higher returns as time goes on. Or, hey, you can keep on doing what you've been doing. The choice is yours. Well, if you're interested in truly turning your business into all it can be and getting your life back in the process, then follow the link below and apply for a coaching spot with me today. And together, let's make the rest of your life the best of your life. I look forward to working with you soon.